Good morning to you. Mark Sutton with HurricaneTrack.com here with your Hurricane Pro in HD video blog. This one's going to be covering Tropical Storm Hermine in the Gulf of Mexico. I am recording this around 9:50 a.m. Eastern Time, so you know how up-to-date this is. Morning visible satellite loop, you can see the center of circulation in here somewhere, and it's starting to expand that outflow over to the north and west side. Still some dry air. A little bit of shear still trying to come in and impact it, but it's overall strengthening. The pressure keeps dropping. The winds are up to 65 miles per hour, and it is headed for a landfall here in Florida over the next several hours into late tonight, early tomorrow. As far as impacts along the coast here, I want to talk about that because it's headed for Florida. This is it. The track forecast showing you the hurricane warning area in red where hurricane conditions are forecast and expected, and then we have the potential for tropical storm conditions up along parts of the southeast coast. So this is going to affect a lot of people. Hazards affecting land. First of all, the wind, hurricane conditions are expected. So 75 mile per hour wind with higher gust in some locations, and that's going to be coming in later tonight. Storm surge continues to be the biggest threat from this. Some areas up to 7 feet. A widespread portion of the Florida Gulf Coast and the Big Bend region over to roughly Apalachicola from 1 to 3 feet. So a pretty wide geographic area going to experience storm surge. And then even along the Florida-Georgia line up to Cape Fear in North Carolina, 1 to 3 feet of storm surge. And that's flooding above ground level. Get that into your head there. That's above the ground, not just the rise overall if this occurs at the time of high tide. In some cases, if it's not high tide, you can subtract a foot or two depending on the area. So important to keep up to date with that, and the Hurricane Center advisories all have the storm surge watch and warning graphic, etc. So you go to the Hurricane Center's homepage for up-to-date information about an hour after each advisory comes out. Very important. Rainfall, don't underestimate this, all right? Anywhere from 5 to 10 inches with isolated amounts over 20, and 4 to 8 up into the Carolinas and parts of eastern Georgia. Big rain producer, this system. Do not ignore that right there. Rainfall could be a big problem, especially with all the people that are traveling potentially for this Labor Day weekend coming up. Hitting the road tomorrow, I know some of you are. It is going to be torrential rain with this, and that's going to lead to some traffic problems, I guarantee it. And finally, the threat of tornadoes here with a landfalling tropical system. You can never know exactly when they might happen, and there's not much you can do about them, but just kind of be aware of that and take cover if you feel like something is imminent in your area. And if there's a warning for your area, a tornado warning, then just make sure you are quite aware and take cover if you need to, all right? Hopefully that'll just be spotty in nature. So the impacts here, let's talk about some of the cities. Potentially Tallahassee, big population area, the Lake City area, Jacksonville, and then down here near Gainesville, and parts of course, the Gulf Coast itself. But inland, we have Savannah up here, Brunswick, Georgia down here, points in between, Darien, Charleston, Beaufort, South Carolina up to Myrtle Beach, Wilmington, and then eventually the Outer Banks, depending on the track that this system takes up through here. It is going to affect a lot of people, and I can't emphasize enough the importance of staying on top of it, keep up to date with what's going on, and just use common sense. If you have to travel, that's my biggest concern outside of the storm surge threat, is people driving on the interstate system as well as back roads trying to get to somewhere for Labor Day, maybe one last vacation. Hurrah, sorry, this is going to kind of spoil that for a good deal of the coastal southeast. But if you are traveling, please take it easy and do not speed in those heavy rains. Just slow it down by half, all right? It's just so sad something like that can be 100% preventable. Common sense must prevail. All right, so I am setting up these unmanned camera systems. You can go to HurricaneTrack.com. Hurricane Pro in HD will be tweeting this, so be sure to follow Hurricane Pro HD on Twitter. And the HurricaneTrack.com homepage is going to have links to these various unmanned cameras that I've been putting out. So be sure to check that. And I will also be posting video sort of diary entries, if you will, to Hurricane Pro in HD throughout this event. So look for those in the video section and on Hurricane Pro HD's Twitter page. All right, their Twitter feed will have links to those as well. It'll just show up automatically. I am Mark South for HurricaneTrack.com down here in Florida, and of course for Hurricane Pro in HD. I'll be on this until it's over. I'll have more for you later.